Hey everyone, Dr. Carrie Hepburn. I am working on writing units for a school district. Our organization creates content alongside school districts all the time, and one of the things that we get asked a lot is to help districts write writing units because we're really struggling to find something that meets the vision that we have for what writing looks like in our classrooms. So I want to give you a quick little glimpse of what that looks like for me today.
When we're doing this work of creating units, we always start with the standards. So, what I'm doing right here is I'm looking at the comprehensive standards guides, and the bulk of this unit is going to be about opinion writing for third graders. So, we have on our comprehensive standards guides the standard and it's unpacked. So you all see all of the learning targets. This helps me know what vocabulary terms I need to hit and what those definitions are throughout the units. And then I look at those objectives. But I really use this part here for developing the lesson. So I know one of the things I need to focus on is making sure kids are writing independently and that they're using the writing process in this first piece. So we'll be working on verbally planning, the oral rehearsal, and writing opinions like basic structure opinions in the first phase of this unit. We'll start moving them into where they're stating their opinion. They'll be introducing the topic, providing reasons and evidence, and we'll move into a concluding section by the end of the unit and using organizational structure. So students will be able to support their point of view, use linking words, use linking phrases, and write really nice pieces with a point of view with reasons. We also in this particular unit, they'll be using their proficiency scale for their summative assessment, which is the final piece that they'll write in Venn 3. And then we have some really nice accommodations that we'll be sharing with teachers in their unit so that they can help provide scaffolding for their students who are either in special education, need accommodations, or English language learners. So the first thing that we do when we get started creating a unit is we look at we use backwards design. So what do we want it to look like at the end? And at the end of this unit, the bulk of the lesson will be about writing opinion pieces. And then we'll look at the other standards regarding mechanics and grammar. Okay, so for this particular school district, we are working on an opinion writing unit for third grade. And we kind of map it out based on a month's worth of teaching. And how we map this out is we think about the writing process. So we know in this opinion writing, we're going to talk about the first phase is going to be everyday kids' interests, like things kids really love. And I think about the writing process. So they're generating ideas for a couple of days. What we know is coming out, and we have valued this for a long time, is the International Dyslexia Association just said we need to spend more time in oral rehearsal. We need to build oral language skills up. And so, in everything that we create, you'll see us a lot of times doing lots of oral rehearsal and planning. And so, we have that as what would be coming up early in this unit. And we gave a writing strategy, a talk strategy, and I'll share with you the resources that we're using. And then we do a draft day. And then the first phase is all about the structure. So we'll revise structure. So thinking about the introduction, a conclusion, some linking words. And then here, what you're going to notice is a couple of times in a unit, we're doing very explicit grammar mechanics lessons. Now, this is not the only grammar and mechanics lessons happening. So please have that in mind that we aren't only teaching grammar and mechanics 2 times in an entire month, but in context of writing workshop, we are teaching it here. Grammar mechanics can be happening during your word study time. You can be pointing it out in reading. You can be doing it a variety of times. Intentionally planning that is vital Um, we kept this just with what the mini lesson looks like, so you can see how we structured this unit. So we have a specific grammar and mechanics lesson, and I cited the source that we'll be using, then a checklist time, and then students will be doing goal setting. And based on that, and that's used for formative assessment for the teacher. We move into phase two. And in phase two, we'll generate ideas. So we're going to go a little bit faster, where students are going to be thinking about writing reviews. So kids review things all the time. They review books, toys, video games, sports, all of those things. So we're going to capitalize on that. We're going to teach them about that. They'll do some rehearsal and planning, draft again, and we're moving into revising on we'll revise the structure, right? So we taught that explicitly up here early on. So we're going to have kids revise structure, remind them of that, and we're going to teach them about supporting each reason with evidence using facts and details, gathering evidence from reliable, credible sources, and then we'll focus on elaboration, right? So beefing that up. And then we'll again have a grammar and mechanics lesson. This time we're going to focus on run-on sentences. We'll move into editing, do formative assessment again, and some goal setting as we move into the final phase of this, which is going to be real-world community-focused topics like you are going to write to change the world. So helping kids connect with that. We'll draft, revise, edit, publish, and plan for a celebration. And this is what's used for the summative assessment. Now, in their unit plans, we will also add what they might be providing small group instruction on or interventions. But this is a nice little planning tool so that we can make sure that we're hitting all parts of the writing process.
Let me share with you some of the resources we're using to write this writing unit. So the K-3 Guide to Academic Conversations. This is really great to help students learn how to have academic conversations, and they'll be doing a lot of conversations about what's working and what's not working in their writing and learning how to push each other. So I love this book. Another book that we'll be using to help with strategies for explicit writing instruction is The Writing Rope. This is a great book for teachers to have and for curriculum writers to use. Another book that we're using is The Writing Revolution. So we love this book. We use this a lot too to help with explicit writing strategies. And then we're pulling from one of our favorites, Writing Strategies book from Jennifer Saravallo is another oldie but goodie, and then we'll be pulling from Talking to Writing for this particular unit as well.
Let's quickly see how all of this comes to life. So we identified at first the we looked at the writing process and we identified then the standards. So in this particular unit, there are essential standards. So for this district, they have essential standards, and then we have our supporting standards. So what you'll notice is we have the essential standard of opinion writing, and then we have supporting standards below that will be added to that calendar that we're making sure we're hitting lessons along the learning progression. So we have that. We have that this unit's going to be 25 days long. Their assessment includes their comprehensive standards guide. They're using their proficiency scale. So we have all of the vocabulary terms that students will learn while they're in this unit, along with their common definitions. Those terms and definitions are vertically aligned K through 12, as you know, if you've heard about our comprehensive standards guide. So they have that in there. And then we start actually writing out the unit. So we remind people that you're in this part of the writing process. We kind of write it out, talk about how we can model it, quick practice for students, do some independent work, and share. We ensure that we have links, so that's what these highlights are, to different things that teachers can use, and we provide student examples of the writing here. So you'll notice that we're writing about how kickball is the best. And this is just like the really quick draft that I made as the teacher on version 1. There are errors in it on purpose because we will be addressing these errors as they're going through the unit and learning about different ways to improve their writing. Version 2, where we started to learn about how we could um, create an introduction. And you'll notice how every time we edit, we're doing that in a different color so that the teacher has an example available for it. And so we have that available. And then at times we will have things like this is not a great anchor chart. We'll actually draw it out and have pictures, but we like to have it so that teachers are able to see um, the different things. So we can create this in a way that students can have access to this in their writer's notebooks, etc. So we go through the writing process and develop the unit like this sentence stems so that students can have those as supports. And again, you'll see we have this all written out. After we've developed the unit, what we will have at the end of each phase. So this is the first writing. Oh, spelling mistake right there. This is not edited yet, as you can see. So here's again the writing, and there are mistakes on purpose. So when you see those, we have that available, but we'll have like, what's your formative assessment? We'll have links in here to the learning progressions that they will use for formative assessment. And then for each step in the formative assessment, we'll have different interventions and extensions from high quality resources that are approved by their district. Just gives you a little glimpse into what I'm doing on this wonderful day. And we do this kind of thing all the time at Compass PD. We not only deliver high quality professional development, but we also get in the trenches and do the work of building resources alongside the teachers and go in classrooms and show them what it looks like. Hope you found it helpful. Have a great day.